Hey, welcome to the Hope Sessions podcast, which is hosted by Jerry D. It is a weekly podcast where each week we will have a different guest on to chat and have them share their story of how they came to faith in Jesus and how he has changed their lives. So tune in and be encouraged by the different stories from ordinary people about an extraordinary God. Remember, hope is to life as oxygen is to the body. Enjoy the show. Guys, hello and welcome again to another episode of the Hope Sessions podcast. Thank you so much for just staying up to date with all the episodes so far. This is going to be the last episode of the Hope Sessions podcast in season 1. But nonetheless, I'm still as excited as I was about the first episode, and I'm really honored to be able to let you guys know that this guest I have on now is a dear friend, a dear encouragement, and someone who I've been working with very closely with my spoken word ministry just over the last year or so. And to me, he's known as Breezy, but to you, I'll introduce you to him formally as Ronan Mc Bride. You can call him Mac Breezy, whatever you want. Breezy, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. I'm doing
Brilliant.
good.
You're welcome, man. You're welcome. Listen, Breezy, me and you have spoken already. We're going to jump straight into it. Rapid fire round. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Morning or night?
Nice.
Spotify or Apple Music?
Oh, easily Spotify. There's not even a comparison there.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Spotify just make it so easy. Apple just make it too complicated.
Yeah, and it's cheaper as well, I think, Spotify. So
Exactly.
why not go with that?
It looks more trendier as well, you know. So, YouTube or Netflix?
I'm gonna say Netflix.
Okay.
But I just like watching series rather than going on YouTube.
That's cool. It's up to yourself. Your favorite Apple product?
Probably my Mac. Yeah, definitely that.
Just it's like the brain of the Apple world, you know. If you don't have a Mac, you're not really getting the full experience of it all, you know.
Exactly. It's so good, and it's so handy as well. I need it for videos, for synth. So
That's right.
it's very good.
Thinking on it, right? It's like a lot of people have MacBooks, right? And there's nothing wrong with it. They're great laptops. I have one as well, right? But if you don't know how to use it properly, it's kind of a waste of an investment. You know, you need
Yeah,
to explore. You need to know why you want it. Do you want it because it looks cool with the Apple logo on the back, or are you using it for videos or photography or music or something to that effect? Because that's what it's really purposely built for, I think, anyway, personally. So
yeah. Like you don't really need to get one unless you absolutely need it. Like for me, I needed it for main stage because I wanted to make sounds, so I
yeah,
could play synth, and then also it's just one of the best computers for making videos and stuff like that. So
absolutely, man.
that's why I got it anyway.
Yeah. Welcome to the club, huh?
Yeah, it's a
Your
good club
favorite?
to be a part of.
Oh, absolutely, man. For life now, it's like once you join, you don't leave.
Exactly.
Your
You can
favorite?
never, once you join Apple, you can never go back.
Yeah, exactly. It's either Apple or Samsung, and like, why would you go to Samsung if you were already with Apple?
Yeah.
That's a debate for another day. But your favorite clothing brand?
At the minute, probably Goose and Gander. I really like their stuff. It's really nice. It's an online website, but they do some really nice clothes. So I like that.
Are they? I presume they're probably an American clothing brand, are they?
No, they're actually from the UK.
Oh wow,
So I think they've set up a business in a warehouse and they're only online. So then you just order and then they send it to you.
brilliant.
It's a good,
I've actually noticed that you're a
company.
really good brand ambassador for them. I don't know if they're paying you on the side or not, but
Yeah. They have a gun to my head telling me to promote them.
yeah. Breezy, tea or coffee?
Coffee. Yeah, coffee.
Elevation worship or Hillsong worship?
That's actually hard. Um,
Purpose.
I would say Hillsong Worship.
Oh, really?
Like Hillsong United or Hillsong Worship?
Yeah, Hillsong Worship.
Oh no, no, Elevation Worship actually. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I was thinking, I was like, is that even a question? Because, like, like, I thought Breezy was going to say elevation straight out. um, Bethel or Maverick City music?
Maverick City.
Yeah. Your favorite Marvel movie? And you're not allowed to say more than one. You have to say one. That's it.
Um, Probably Spiderman Far From Home. I
Okay.
really like that. He's definitely my favorite superhero anyway, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So I would go with that one.
I thought I'm not sure what because I've watched all the Marvel, but I'm not really as into it as you are. But you know the airport scene in one of them.
In Civil War.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
that airport scene was phenomenal.
Yeah. It was it was mind blowing for fans that scene. Yeah, it was a cool scene.
Absolutely, man, absolutely.
Mhm.
And the last question I have, Breezy,
Yeah.
is your favorite summer fire memory.
Uh, Probably getting to play in the worship band with Jordan. I mean that was pretty special to get to play with him and Ruben and Joel.
Brilliant.
That was yeah, that's probably my favorite memory.
And when was that? Was that the last summer
Bef-
fire in 2020?
Yeah, that was the last summer fire. And
Wow,
yeah, it was really yeah, it was really nice to play with those guys because like Jordan brought us into the youth band and he taught us like how to play in a band and taught us how to like he taught us a lot of things.
yeah.
So that was pretty cool that we got to play with him then before he left then.
Yeah, man. Even to touch on that with Jordan, man. Like,
Yeah.
the one thing I love about him is he's one of my closest friends as well. I love how he's so good at taking people under his wing and teaching them and helping them and developing them. And he does a lot of that.
Yeah.
I've often gone into church and he's doing like drumming lessons with Dara or piano lessons with some other guy. And I'm like, you're like always on the go. So I've always been encouraged by that, how he takes people like you, Ruben and Joel and Jake, and I'm sure there's many, many other people that we don't know about under his wing and just teaches them and loves on them and develops them because that's really what it's about, man, right?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Definitely.
Yeah. Breezy, that's the rapid fire round over. I want to let you know that you got 100%. So don't let your ego
Thank you.
explode at the moment, but well done.
Thanks.
Breezy, this is the Hope Sessions podcast, right? And the main reason why I do these episodes is to talk about hope. And you and me both know that hope is a person and his name is Jesus. And when we talk about our hope story, it's about how the person of Jesus entered into our life and where he's took us from and where he's taking us to. So, man, for the next 5 minutes or so, or however you feel comfortable with, would you share your journey, man, about what the Lord has done in your life for us, please?
Yeah, definitely. So um I grew up in a Christian home. So my dad was a pastor in in Letterkenny Church, in Letterkenny Church, and then Derry Church. And so he would always like tell us Bible stories every night and just read us the Bible, like like the children's Bibles that you can get. So he would just read from those and then also tell us like maybe some of the parables and stuff like that. And then one night he asked me if I'd like to invite Jesus into my life, and I did, and that's when I became a Christian. I think I was 4 or 5 or something like that.
Yes.
And then once I turned 5, then we moved down to Cork, and my dad became a pastor in Cork Church.
Yeah.
So I went to school. I went to primary school here and secondary school. So primary school was fine. Um, there was one big thing though. I used to always be very, very afraid all the time.
Sure.
I would just like come up with these crazy scenarios. Like if my mom went into the shop and left us in the car, I was scared that something would happen to her and stuff like that. So I
Wow.
was even scared of being left in the car or being left home alone. And
Wow.
yeah, just things like that. And I just was fearful all the time.
Yeah.
So then it got pretty bad. And then my dad told me to read Joshua. And in that book, God says, "Do not be afraid to Joshua, because I am with you." And that really spoke to me. And
Amen.
then also, my mom just said, "Just ask God just to help you with that fear and take it away." And so I did. I was like, "Please, God, just help me take this fear away from me." And
Yeah.
yeah, He did, and He gave me courage. And yes, I still fear, and sometimes I worry as well, but I know that He is always with me, so that keeps me encouraged. And then fast forward to secondary school,
Yeah.
when I went into first year, I struggled a lot with that, telling people that I was a Christian. I didn't ever like turn away from God or anything, but I wasn't really living like a Christian. I didn't like drink or anything like that or do any bad stuff, but I was hanging out with the wrong kind of people and just trying to fit in, and
Yeah.
I just wasn't really living like a Christian. And so I went to summer fire that year, and then there was an altar call. I can't even remember what it was for, but I just remember going up to it, and then like God just met me at that altar. I just started
Yeah.
crying, and I was like, God, I haven't been really living the way I'm supposed to be, and I just want to give my life to you. I just want to live for you.
Amen.
And yeah, ever since that, I've just lived my life for him. He's blessed me so much. He's took me on this amazing journey. He put me on the worship band.
Yeah.
He gave me the gifts to play synth and piano,
Yeah.
to sing. Like I was always interested in like cameras and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then just out of nowhere, he just brought me into the media team. He
Amen.
sent an intern down called Josh Glass, and he introduced me to like video editing and cameras, and God's been using me in that.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, like he took me to Holland as well on 3 missions trips. Like
Right.
living your life for God is so worth it. If you give your life to God, He blesses you and He brings you on an amazing journey. Like I'm only starting on this
Oh,
journey.
yeah.
I still think I have a long time to go, but all the stuff He's blessed me with and all the stuff He's put me in, it's been amazing.
Yeah.
It's definitely the most amazing life you could ever live, is if you give your life to God. So yeah, that's my testimony
That's
right
powerful.
there.
I love it. I love hearing people's testimonies, man, because it always deepens my respect for individuals. Like me and you have been friends for a long time now. I mean, I was your youth leader at one stage for maybe a year or two, and then you joined
Yeah,
us in the youth team, and now we're youth leaders together, serving our youth group in Cork Church alongside a great group of leaders and Pastor Patrick, man, and the team. But it's really remarkable to see from me to see just how the Lord has provided for you, man, how he provided that job when they weren't hiring, how he
yeah,
provided your place for college, and now he is planted and positioned you in the media team in our church worship ministry. I mean, you're doing so many different things, but you're doing it because you enjoy doing it and God is blessing it. He is using you powerfully in that area, man. A lot
yeah.
of people think they can take pictures, but they can't. A lot of
No,
people think they can sing, but outside the shower, you're hopeless. You're gonna do damage to someone's eardrum. But I want to encourage
yeah,
them to keep going, and I mean that as cringy as that sounds. God hasn't brought you this far to drop you.
yeah,
And even for you, man, like you shared your testimony about how you grew up in a Christian home, which is a massive blessing that I didn't have myself. But I've often heard testimonies about people how sometimes people think, oh, I have to take so many drugs and sleep around and rob houses and be on the news and all this stuff and then give my life to God. No, the sustaining power of God is on your life, man. How he kept you from a lot of heartache. He kept you from a lot of pain. He kept you from
Yeah.
a lot of stuff that unfortunately many of us have experienced. So man, that's powerful. How he has positioned you in a family where he was going to shelter you and protect you and use you in a different way. And I'm encouraged by that, man. So please be encouraged by that. Don't ever underestimate the power of your story. You know?
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely, man. But listen, thank you for
Definitely.
sharing your story, man, because coming to the end of this episode, right? There's three questions I like to ask our guests, and I never send them the questions beforehand. But relax.
Okay.
This isn't
All
college.
right.
This is Jerry D and Ronan Mc Bride just chilling and chatting. So the first
No.
question I have, man, is right. What is something that you know now that you wish you knew when you were younger?
Yeah. Something that I think that God is in control of everything. That's still something that I'm still learning as well. And thankfully, I know more about it now than I did back then, but I'm still learning that I know it's so easy to say and so hard to actually like know it at the same time, if you get me, that
Yeah,
God is in control of everything and like can't like provides everything that you need as well.
yeah,
Like that's still something that sometimes you just forget about it. So that's why you just have to keep on reminding yourself of that.
yeah,
Like for example, that job, like it was the start of COVID, so I couldn't work anymore because where I was working, I was washing cars and that stopped at the start of COVID and then they just didn't take me back then. So like I didn't have any job. I was fine during COVID though, because I didn't need a job because no one was doing anything or we weren't going anywhere. So it was grand. But then it got to the summer and I was starting to worry like I needed a job to pay for college and
yeah,
I was like, where am I gonna get this job? I was looking everywhere. I was handing CVs left, right, and center, and
yeah,
no one had got back to me. And then like I would then when was yeah in September I was like and I should have been doing it the whole time but I wasn't. I was just like I just need to pray and just ask God.
yeah.
I was like, God, please just help me find a job. And then it was the week before college started. Um Tristan came into the church and told his dad, oh, we're actually looking, or he was like, there's actually a job for Ronan. That was it. So
Wow.
then I went up and handed my CV in, and I was like, I'm just looking for a job. Tristan said that there was a job here, and the manager was like, yeah, yeah, maybe something will come up, or we'll let you know if something comes up. And then I was in the car, and then he called me and said, you know what, actually, we do have a position for you. Um,
Wow.
just come in for a quick chat on Monday. So, and then I came in for a quick chat on Monday and I got the job and I was working, he gave me 5 days and then at the end of those 5 days, I realized that is a bit much with college and all that. So I was like, is
Sure.
there any way I can go down to 4 days? So he's like, yeah, yeah, that's no problem. So he gave me Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays off, which are the exact days I need off for church. So like
Powerful.
I just knew right then like God is actually in control of everything and he provides everything you need. So all you have to do is just trust them even when things aren't looking like they'll turn out the way they should or stuff like that, or maybe you want like a husband, a wife, or stuff like that. You just have to trust God that He'll bring the right thing for you in the right time. So that's something I'm learning at the minute, and that is definitely something I wish I had known earlier as well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I love it, man, because like I've heard that story maybe about 10 times and I never get tired of hearing it because, but even as you're sharing now, man, I'm even thinking about just how God is, he's not only in charge of the bigger picture, but the small details. I mean, something as simple as Tristan telling his dad. Why would he tell his dad? And then
Yeah.
well, his dad would have told you, and then you went in, and then you said, "Hey, Tristan was letting me know," and he said, "Yeah, we might let you know." And then as soon as you got in the car, he rang you. I mean, so there's a lot of stuff there, man. There's like a jigsaw puzzle coming together. That's encouraging to see, man. How they weren't looking for people at a certain stage, but then they had one vacancy, and you, out of how many people handed in a CV, and God had that job. That job was yours before you even put your CV in,
Yeah.
right? And that's powerful, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It just goes to show you that, like I said, God really, he does care about every aspect of your life,
Yeah,
and he always, always, always will provide for
yeah,
you as well what you need.
that's brilliant, man.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. The next question I have, Breezy, is what is your favorite scripture or book in the Bible that you would like, you'd go back to for encouragement, or if you're going through a difficult time or something, like what would your go-to book or scripture be?
Probably James. I really like that,
Yeah,
especially the first chapter in James, because I always go back to that for encouragement. It says, consider it pure joy, brothers and sisters, for when we experience, I'm like sort of misquoting this, but
you're
when we experience troubles, I can't even, I'll have to
all right, man. You're all
look it up. 1 second.
right. You're all right, man. You're all right. Take your time.
Uh, yeah, this is it. Yeah. So, dear brothers and sisters, when troubles of any kind come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy. For you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. So let it grow, for when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing. If
Mm,
you need wisdom, ask our generous God, and He will give it to you. Like, I love that verse like so much.
yeah.
It think it's an amazing verse because everyone goes through troubles, and it's a horrible thing to go through as well.
Yeah.
But reading that verse, it says, um, cons- uh, think of it as joy. Like, it's a joy to go through that stuff, because God is bringing us through that to teach us something, and to also make us more like Him as well. He
Yeah.
wants us to be more like Him, and he's showing us stuff that we need to learn about Him, so we can trust Him in other situations that He brings us through. So maybe even we can encourage other people about their troubles when they're going through it, because we've gone through something similar, and and then we can tell them how they're going to get through it and stuff like that. So it's
Oh,
actually a good thing to go through troubles, because it's doing a good thing in us. So
yeah.
that's something that encourages me.
That's brilliant.
And that's, yeah, I love that verse.
Hey, man, thanks for sharing that, man. That's beautiful. It really is. Because usually when I ask people that question on the podcast, no one has actually ever quoted from James. So I'm actually refreshed by the fact that you shared that. But the last question I have, man, on this episode of the podcast, and I love this question, it's my favorite question that I'll ask anyone ever. And it's, if you could have dinner with three people, either dead or alive, who would it be and why? And disclaimer, you don't have to say Jesus because he's ruling and reigning in your heart. So he's there already.
Yeah. Is it like dinner like at the same time with these three people, or just like
Yeah, I didn't think that heavily into it. Listen, for you
yeah.
to do it individually, okay?
Um I think I would like to have dinner with Robin Williams. I think that would be pretty cool,
Yeah,
because he's a very, very good comedian. So I think that would be a very fun evening
yeah.
with him. There would be plenty of jokes anyway. The second person, probably C.S. Lewis.
Okay.
I would like I think that would be really cool. Just like the knowledge that he had about God. Like you hear preachers quoting him
Yeah.
like all the time in their sermons. So I think you would learn a lot from him. And I think that would be a very encouraging evening, and you definitely learn a lot. And then the third person, probably Paul from the Bible. I
Yeah.
think that would be amazing. Like, yeah, that would be a cool evening. He would give you so much wisdom as well, like C.S. Lewis, and he'd probably encourage you as well. So
Yeah.
I think that'd be a cool
That's
person to
cool.
have dinner with.
Because I was
Yeah.
thinking, I know you said the Apostle Paul as your third option. I was thinking if anyone was to ever make a movie about his life, like there would be so much action. Like it would be like a roller coaster. There would be high moments, and then suddenly just then back up
Yeah.
again, and being shipwrecked, being beaten. I mean, like being shipwrecked. I'm pretty sure he was shipwrecked multiple times. If my correction, if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he was shipwrecked a couple of times. Do you not think you'd learn the first
Yeah.
time not to get back on the boat?
Yeah, yeah. Like people were probably thinking, "Oh no, we're going with Paul, so we're gonna be shipwrecked."
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, man,
Ah,
exactly.
yeah.
Easy, man. I
That
want
would, yeah.
so much for just giving up your time. It's
No
actually to me
problem.
it's effortless to talk to you because you're a dear brother to me and you have been for a long period of time. And I've no doubt, man, that those people who are either watching this podcast episode or listening to it, they would be encouraged, helped, and they would have just enjoyed the conversation because I enjoy it. To me, I enjoy conversations with people because I find people are interesting. Your story is not my story is not yours, and I love it how although our stories are so different, it's connected to the same truth that Jesus
Yeah.
came to earth and died for us. And that's what brought us together, man. I mean, without Jesus, I wouldn't have been in the church and I would never have met someone like you. So it's because the gospel has brought our friendship to be something beautiful, you know?
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
No, thank you for having me as well on this. And yeah, genuinely love you, Jerry, and you're such a great friend to me. And I love our times that we get to hang out together. And
Yeah.
I love even working on your videos now. Like it's been amazing. So yeah, thank you as well.
Amen, man. Amen. Well, hey, I'll say it. I've said it offline. I'll say it online. I believe in you, and if I didn't believe in you, I wouldn't give you the creative directory over my videos. If I didn't trust your ability, I wouldn't have had you doing the video. So I see something in you. I see just the gifting that God has graced you with, man. And I'm looking forward to many more times. I mean, we just done the Hope is to Life online experience last night. For those of you guys, if you haven't checked that out, check it out on my YouTube channel, which is Jerry with a G D Music. The live experience will be there. Breezy played a massive, massive, massive part in it. I mean, if it wasn't for this guy's willingness to give of his resources and his time, and he even had to take a day off work to help me with it, which was a massive blessing. Check it out, be encouraged by it. But Breezy, thank you so much, guys. Guys, that is another
Thank you.
episode of the Hope Sessions podcast. Season 1 is officially done, but I've got good news. Season 2 is coming. Just keep your eyes peeled. It'll be on my social media. It'll be on the podcast when it goes live. But thank you so much for just every week giving up of your time, guys, to just listen to each and every episode. Everyone's story is different, man. I really hope you've been encouraged, you've been touched, you've been helped, and even maybe you feel that tugging at your heart that the Lord has been encouraging you or tugging at your heart. Call out to him. You know, John 14:6 says the following. Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. Jesus is the way to salvation. It's not a matter of being a good person or a bad person. If it's a matter of being good or bad, Jesus died for nothing. Jesus died to reconcile us back to that relationship with him. You know, sin cut us off before, but by now putting our faith in the finished work of Jesus, who took our punishment on the cross, we've been reconciled to him. And that's a massive encouragement for me that me and if it's about me being good to get to heaven, I'm going to hell. Not because I want to, but because I know I'm not good enough. I know who I am. I know what I deal with. But I'm so thankful for the work of Jesus in both my life and in Ronan's life. And thank you guys so much for tuning in, and stay safe. And don't forget to share it with your friends, your family, your sisters, friends, uncles, buddy, whoever you want to send it to. Share it on your social media, your Instagram stories, all that good stuff. And thank you so much for your support. Take care, guys. Stay safe. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Hope Sessions podcast with me, Jerry D. Don't forget to subscribe and make sure that you never miss an episode. Also, if you could leave a review and share it with your friends to help spread the word about this podcast, it would be a massive help. Take care and see you next time. Remember, hope is to life as oxygen is to the body.